Hello students, this is Rahmat Ali, PGT Physics from Indirapuram Public School, Ghaziabad. In the last session, we have studied about the motion of the charged particles in the magnetic field, the Fleming's left hand rule. Today, we are going to study the application of Fleming's left hand rule, motion of the charges in the magnetic field, force on a current carrying conductor placed on a magnetic field, force between two parallel conductors carrying current, and few more topics. Let us begin with the force on a charged particle while passing through the magnetic field. When a charged particle Q passes through a magnetic field B, then it experiences some force F equals to Q into V cross B. This force is perpendicular to both the velocity V and the magnetic field B. So, we can say the work done by the magnetic force will be 0. As the work done is 0, so by the work energy theorem, we can say that the kinetic energy of the charged particle does not change. However, as the direction of the charged particle is changing, so we can say that velocity of the charged particle is changing, and under the action of this force, the charged particle moves on the circular path. If velocity is v, radius of the path is r, then it requires the centripetal force mv square upon r, which is balanced by the magnetic force. That means bqv, the magnetic force, is equal to the centripetal force mv square upon r. That means velocity v is equals to bqr upon m. So, the time taken to complete a round t will be equals to the distance, which is equal to the circumference 2 pi r divided by the velocity. Substituting the value of the velocity, we get t equals to 2 pi m divided by b into q. From this expression, it is very clear that the time period is independent of the velocity of the charge as well as the radius of the path. If the charge enters in the magnetic field B, making some angle theta, then it experiences some force. How the force will be experienced, that we will have to study. As the charged particle is entering, making some angle theta with the magnetic field B, so resolving its velocity v into its rectangular components, we get Vx equals to v cos theta, Vy equals to v sin theta. In the diagram, it is very clearly mentioned. So, the magnetic force on the component Vx will have to calculate, as Vx is parallel to the magnetic force B. So, force F equals to Q into Vx cross B, as Vx and B are parallel. So, the magnetic force on the component Vx will be 0. Now, we will calculate the force on the component Vy. So, the force F will be equals to B Q Vy into sin 90. Under the action of this force, the charge undergoes circular path. If radius of the path is r, then the force bqv will be equals to mv square divided by r. From here, velocity along y-axis will be equals to bqr upon m. So, the time taken to complete the round t will be equals to 2 pi r divided by velocity along y-axis, which gives us the relation t equals to 2 pi m upon bq. Once again, the time period is independent of the velocity and the radius. As we know, the component Vx is equals to v cos theta is also available. So, the charge moves in the forward direction under the velocity Vx, and because of the force F, the charge is moving under the circular path. Under the combined action, the charge goes on the helical path. It is clearly represented in the diagram. So, the pitch of the helix x is equals to velocity along x-axis into time taken to complete a round, as velocity along x-axis is equals to v cos theta and the time period t is equals to 2 pi m upon bq. So, we get the pitch x is equals to 2 pi m divided by bq into v cos theta. Lorentz force. As we know, if the charged particle is moving in the magnetic field, then it experiences only the magnetic force, which is equal to q into v cross b. Whereas, if the charged particle is passing through electric field, then it follows the electric force F is equals to Q into E, where E is the electric field. If we have a situation in which the electric field and the magnetic field simultaneously exist in the same region and the charged particle passes through that region, then it will experience the force F equals to the electric force and the magnetic force. So, the net force will be equal to the vector sum of these two forces. The net force F will be equals to Fe plus Fb. Now, there are certain cases. Case number 1, if velocity v, electric field E and the magnetic field B, all the three are parallel to each other, then the magnetic force will be 0, because the magnetic force F equals to Q into V cross B. Hence, the charge moves only under the influence of electric field. Situation number 2, if the velocity, the electric field and the magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, then we may get a situation when the net force is 0. In this case, the force due to electric field will be equal to the force due to the magnetic field, but both the forces have to be in the opposite direction. Substituting the values of the electric force and the magnetic force, we get Q into E is equals to minus Q into V cross B. Here minus sign is representing the opposite direction of the magnetic force. As Q is common, so cancelling from both the sides, we get electric field E is equals to minus V cross B. That means electric field E is equals to B cross V. This concept is used in velocity selector. Now, velocity selector, it is a machine which is based on Lorentz force. It is used to select charged particles moving with a certain velocity. As we know, electric field, magnetic field and the velocity, if all these three are perpendicular to each other, then we get electric field E is equals to B cross V. So, velocity E is equals to E divided by B. Hence, we can say all those charged particles which are moving with velocity V equals to E divided by B will remain undeflected while passing through a region where electric field and the magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. Cyclotron. It is a device which is used to accelerate charged particle. It is based on the concept of Lorentz force. It consists of two hollow metallic Ds connected with high frequency oscillator. The Ds are kept in the magnetic field normally. The purpose of connection of high frequency oscillator is to reverse the polarity of the Ds as per the requirement. When a charged particle Q enters in the magnetic field B within the Ds, then it describes the circular path. The electric force within the Ds is 0 because the Ds are hollow. So, the time taken to come out of the D, T will be equals to pi m divided by BQ. We adjust the frequency of high frequency oscillator in such a way that the polarity of the Ds reverses exactly after this time. So, velocity of the charge increases in the gap because of the electric force. As a result, charge enters into another D with increased velocity. As velocity and radius are directly proportional to each other, as a result, the charge describes a bigger radius of the circle. But the time taken is constant, which is independent of velocity and the radius. So, charge comes out in the gap exactly after the same time. Once again, the polarity of the Ds is reversed using the high frequency oscillator and velocity increases. These steps are followed again and again. As a result, velocity of the charge goes on increasing. When required velocity is attained, then charge can be taken out from the Ds and carry out some nuclear transmutations. Maximum velocity which can be attained in the given cyclotron of radius of the d r naught, that will be V naught is equals to B Q r naught divided by the m. So, the maximum kinetic energy maximum is equals to half into mass into the maximum velocity square. Substituting the value of the maximum velocity, we get maximum kinetic energy is equals to half b square q square r naught square divided by mass. Limitations of cyclotron. There are certain limitations of this cyclotron. Number 1, only charged particles can be accelerated by it, because if the charged particle is not available, that means if the particle is neutral, then neither it will experience electric force nor it will experience magnetic force. Hence, we cannot increase its velocity in the cyclotron. Second limitation, velocity of the charge cannot be increased beyond a certain limit. As we know, according to Einstein's theory of relativity, mass of the charged particle increases with the velocity by the relation m equals to m naught divided by 1 minus v square upon c square. If velocity of the charged particle is increased close to the speed of light, then mass of the charged particle also increases. As a result, the formula T equals to pi m upon bq will not be constant. That means, the charge will take longer time to come out in the gap. As a result, the synchronization of the motion of the charge and the frequency of oscillator will not be there. Hence, there will be a situation when the charged particle, instead of increasing its velocity, the velocity will start decreasing. Next limitation, the light particles like electrons cannot be accelerated with the help of this cyclotron. Now, we will have to study the force on a current carrying conductor placed in a uniform magnetic field. Let V have a conductor of length L carrying current I. If this conductor is placed in uniform magnetic field B making an angle theta, then all the free electrons available in the conductor will experience force. Let V have an electron whose charge is minus E moving with velocity v, then force on this electron F is equals to minus E into V cross B. As the total number of free electrons in the conductor capital N is equals to small n, the number density of the free electrons, into the volume of the conductor A into L, that means capital N is equals to N into A into L, we get the total force F equals to minus N A L E into V cross B. As we know, current I equals to A N E into the velocity of the charge. So, the current element I L is equal to minus N A L E into velocity. This value of current element we are going to substitute in the force formula, F equals to minus N A L E into V cross B. As a result, we get F equals to I into L cross B. As the angle between the current and the magnetic field is theta, so the formula of force F equals to BIL sin theta. Direction of this force is obtained using the Fleming's left hand rule, which we have already studied. Force between two parallel conductors carrying current. Let V have two parallel conductors KL and MN carrying current I1 and I2 separated by distance R as shown in the diagram. Due to the conductor KL, the magnetic field at point P1 on the conductor LM, say B1 is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 upon R. This magnetic field B1 will be radially inward using the Maxwell's right hand thumb rule. In this magnetic field B1, the conductor MN is kept normally, so it experiences some force. The force per unit length F21, that is the force experienced by second conductor due to the magnetic field of first conductor, is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by R. The SI unit of this force will be equal to Newton per meter. Similarly, due to Mn, the magnetic field B2 at point P2 on the conductor KL will be equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I2 divided by R. Now, in this magnetic field, conductor KL is kept normally. So, force per unit length F12 equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by R. The direction of this force is obtained using Fleming's left hand rule. If the current in the two conductors is in the same direction as shown in the diagram, then the force is attractive, whereas if the current is in the opposite direction, then the force will be repulsive as shown in the diagram. The definition of 1 ampere. From above relation F equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by R, we can define 1 ampere. If I1 equals to I2 equals to 1 ampere and the distance between the two conductors R is equal to 1 meter, then the force per unit length F equals to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. So, we can say 1 ampere is that current which, when passed through two parallel conductors separated by a distance of 1 meter, they experience a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per unit of their length. So, students, in this session we have studied about the cyclotron, the force experienced by a conductor, force between two parallel conductors, and definition of 1 ampere. In the next session, we will study the torque experienced by a current carrying coil placed in a magnetic field. We will study about the moving coil galvanometer, how to convert a moving coil galvanometer into an ammeter and voltmeter. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.